Mark Milley should be court-martialed. Yes. Hands down. Vindman, of all people, I think he tweeted this out. I don't know where he posted, but I think it was a tweet where he said that if this is true, Mark Milley usurped civilian authority and by breaking the chain of command. The New York Times reported on this on January 8th with an update on the 13th that Nancy Pelosi...
Well, look, there's a few pieces of data missing. Maybe Trump told Milley we're not going to attack China. Maybe he told him that.
But that's not what happened.
But maybe he knew that.
But the issue is, the reporting is that it was a secret call outside of chain of command, and that Mark Milley convened a secret meeting at the Pentagon instructing senior officers to essentially defy legal orders from Donald Trump.
What, on the nuclear strike thing?
Yes, after a call from Nancy Pelosi. Now, what happened was the New York Times reported on January 8th.
Can we define something very quickly,
yes.
though? Look, I am not a Mark Milley fan. I am a Donald Trump supporter. I hate Nancy Pelosi. I'm on the right side, but I have questions. My first question is what is the actual exact nuclear launch protocol?
What does that have to do with this?
Because does the president just say, launch the nukes, and then some guy in a silo turns the key? Or does it have to go from the president to the Joint Chief down the chain of command?
What does it have to do with?
Because as far as I read the text specifically, Milley said, if we're talking about a nuclear strike, I have to be part of it or something like that, right? Which reinforced the chain of command. So what he thought was the chain of command. What is the actual chain of command? If Trump says, launch the nukes, what is the actual literal next step? Does he give the order to the Joint Chief? And then the guy that turns the key has to take the order from the Joint Chiefs, or does he have to take it from the president? This is a very important, crucial distinction.
Let me break this stuff down for you. The Hill reported, the forthcoming book says Milley conducted secret meetings at the Pentagon after January 6th.
Secret from whom?
To ensure former President Trump could not launch a military attack.
Secret from the public, secret from Trump?
From Trump.
To ensure that Trump could not launch an attack.
A military attack.
So specific. Look, I'm a Trump guy. I'm not a Milley guy. I just want to have the facts so we can argue the right things. And so he specifically said, if Donald Trump says attack,
you come to me, look me in the eyes right now and swear an oath, you will come to me with this. When Trump gives a lawful order to an officer, and then he says, no, you come to me instead.
I'm not in the military. I have no idea how this works. Is an enlisted guy supposed to take an order direct from the president, or does an enlisted guy have to take an order from his commanding officer?
You got to stop because I was about to address this before you jumped in.
Okay.
The New York Times reported that when Pelosi contacted Mark Milley saying she was concerned about Donald Trump launching a military strike, that it seems Mark Milley offered no consideration to this request. And the Department of Defense, several Department of Defense officials were angered by this, saying that if they actually did plan on circumventing the chain of command, it would be a military coup. Vindman said, if this report is correct, that Milley usurped civilian authority, breaking the chain of command. I am not saying it is my opinion this happened. I'm saying New York Times reported, DOD officials said, if they sought to break the chain of command, it would be a military coup.
Right. If they sought to break the chain of command. But we haven't defined what the chain of command is yet.
Vindman said it was.
But Vindman said that the president can give an enlisted guy an order that all of the commanding officers disagree with, and the enlisted guy has to do it?
I don't... Jack, I think your questions are completely irrelevant.
Well, I think that you're supposed to only answer to your immediate officer, your immediate superior. And then if another greater superior comes over and tells you something, you're like, sorry, man, this is my superior.
None of this is relevant to my point.
That's what
none of this is relevant to my point. My point was that, according to the New York Times, when they initially reported this, they said Pelosi tried to make it happen. It didn't happen. And so I reported that as Pelosi attempts military coup against Trump. And I said, I'm not going to mince words. If the New York Times reporting Department of Defense officials said what Nancy Pelosi attempted to get them to do would have been a military coup, that's what I'm going to say happened. Yes. And a lot of people on the left were angry by it. No, that didn't happen. She was just trying to stop a crazy man from starting a war. And I'm like, I don't care. The New York Times reported this. I'm not going to give my opinion. I'm going to state what the New York Times reported. Vindman says that this report, and you don't have to trust Vindman. I'm just making the point that You have many people coming out right now, even people on the left, saying this broke the chain of command. He gave information to an adversary without conferring with the president. That seems like a big problem to me. Treason? No, we're not declared enemies of China. We actually have, a ton of agreements with them. We're not at war, although we literally are at war. We're not.
Well, they're at war. They're at war with us.
We're at war with them. We are.
Well, they're at war with us. They're waging war on us.
And
not technically.
The point is, we didn't declare war against them, so it's just an off the books conflict, I guess you can call it. But they've been attacking our critical infrastructure for a long, long time. So anyway, the point is, Milley, according to the reports, had a secret phone call with Chinese military, telling them outright, all of our posturing, all of our ships going through China, we're not going to attack you.
That's actually makes me think that we have way better ties with the Chinese government than it seems, that we're really safe and that there's not going to be any physical conflict.
China recently had a strike group go into the Alaskan Economic Zone. Yeah. And look, when China says we will.
Or right up next to the economic zone. I don't think they want to do it.
When China says we will take Taiwan. When China's actively sinking fishing boats in the South China Sea claiming control over it. When they're illegally building military bases on the atolls. And the U.S. can only saber rattle. And then the best we have is saber rattling. Mark Milley in October, before the election even happened, calls them and says, don't worry, we're not going to attack you. And if we are going to, I will give you advanced warning.
Is this not, and again, I'm not a Milley fan. I'm a Trump supporter. I believe China's waging war on us, etc. I just want to know the facts. Okay. If we're conducting a military exercise, do we not notify our adversaries in advance that we're conducting a military exercise?
Wait. Are you asking that if we're going to fire a missile on our enemy to declare war, we would warn them first?
An exercise.
But that's not what we're talking about. He said, so you need to understand what's been going on all last year.
Yeah.
China has been actively pushing on the Pacific in many ways that are considered illegal. Sinking fishing boats, for instance, has been a huge red flag for the U.S. and their allies. So the U.S. deploys destroyers into the South China Sea, challenging China's claims over the territory. China's trying to put enough pressure on the U.S. to get us to back down so they can eventually declare sovereignty over the area. One of the things stopping them was that China was scared if they kept pressing, the U.S. would attack.
I see.
So Mark Milley is reported in the full report from the Washington Post, in the book, they specifically state, because China was concerned that the U.S. would be prepared to attack them, Mark Milley called them in October of 2020 to warn them not to worry. We will not attack you. Everything is fine. And in the event we will launch an attack, I will call you and warn you first. Mm-hmm. That was him pledging to an adversary. In the event war were to break out, he would side with them. He would give them warning of our military plans.
Yes, I understand
and by
that.
Stating that we will not attack you, he completely undermined everything the U.S. had been doing in the Pacific to stop China's encroachment in the Pacific. When China was scared we were going to attack, I'm not saying war is good. No, it's bad. But if China was like, hey, the U.S. might attack us, you think that's a deterrent?
Right.
So he undermined that completely,
right,
going outside of the chain of command to do so.